In this module, I'll introduce multiple tools for creating your own riffs in the neoclassical and metal styles with a little bit of that AOR flavor of the 80s thrown in too. The concepts we'll explore in this module include dyads, diatonic chord fragmentation, pedal tone anchoring, and both single string and sequence-based riffs. So let's start with dyads. A dyad is a pairing of two notes either played simultaneously or in succession. Now, as rock players, we commonly do this already with the power chord, which is actually a perfect fifth dyad. What we're going to do here is go beyond the power chord using other two-note voicings to explore the intervals and sounds they create. Starting with the A note on the 7th fret of the D string, a power chord puts a perfect fifth interval 2 frets higher on the G string. Now, 1 fret up from there, we find a minor 6th interval with the F note, and 2 notes down from the 5th, we find a perfect 4th interval with the D note on the 7th fret. Changing position and moving down the scale on the G string, we can access a minor third of A with the C note on the 5th fret and the major second B note a fret below that. Now we've got some harmonic motion happening rather than the static sound of a power chord. That's because some of those dyads hint at the sounds of other chords. For example, the A and F notes in the minor 6th dyad could be considered part of an F major triad, and the A and D notes in the perfect 4th dyad could also be considered an upside down D power chord. The interpretation is probably less important than the idea itself of getting beyond the sound of the power chord. Even if the keyboards were holding, say, a static A minor triad, the guitar part involving these intervals would add more intervallic variation with these shapes. What I'm going to do now is create a riff with these dyads using a muted A string as a pedal note in between. Let me play it first and then we'll talk more about it. If you're new to riffing like this, take some time to get used to the two elements that go into it. One is obviously the punchy short chord fragments and the flick of the pick that I use to execute them. Then there's the pretty heavy mute on the A string chugging eighth notes. When putting them together, go slower so that you can memorize which dyads are followed by two muted pedal notes and which ones have single pedal notes. To create more harmonic motion, we can keep the pedaled A note and then use dyads centered around other root notes. Let's take a G power chord on the 5th fret of the D string and see what intervals surround that. Because we're staying in the key of A minor, the 6th dyad for this will be major. The 5th and 4th will still be perfect intervals, and then below that, the 3rd and 2nd dyad intervals will be major. It sounds a bit like a Kiss riff like that in isolation, but we're going to do something different with it in a moment. First, let's go down one more chord to the F and build some dyads off that. These intervals will be similar to what we got with the G dyads, except the 4th interval in this case will be a raised or augmented 4th in order to stay in the key of A minor. Now that we have those building blocks, we can make a more interesting riff that outlines A minor, G major, and F major with various dyads instead of just power chords. For this riff, I'll use pieces of the last few examples. Yngwie's a big fan of 16th note picking on the pedal bass notes too. So here's a drill I want you to work on for that. I'll stick to dyads based around the A shape that we started the lesson with, and then we'll talk a bit more about the picking in a second. What we're doing here is taking the riff form with dyads and pedaled eighth notes and then doubling the note density on the muted pedal tones. So 2 eighth notes are replaced by 4 16th notes, and a single eighth note is replaced by 2 16th notes. This is great work for building the picking chops and control that you'll need for riffs like I'll See the Light Tonight. Let me go slow now so you can see the flick of the pick on the chords, the control on the palm muted pedal tones, and the picking of those 16th notes. Note also that to prevent the dyads and bass notes from overlapping, I'm not holding down the chord fragments while picking the A string. If you want to draw all your attention to the picking hand while working on this, choose just one shape for the fretting hand while you get that picking developed and up to speed, then start bringing various dyads back into play.